Hey, Dis After Dark listeners. I want to invite you all to join us over on Scare Zone, Halloween Horror Nights podcast. Scare Zone is a news, interview, history, and commentary podcast all about Universal's premier Halloween event. It's hosted by fans and experts like me, Logan Seculo, former WWE superstar Scotty 2 Hottie, and Dis After Dark's own Chris Ripley. Subscribe however you get podcasts and head over to scarezone.com for more information. We here at the show are proud supporters of Dis After Dark. And remember, keep your eyes closed and your ears open on Scare Zone.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Pop After Dark. I am Nick, and on this week's show I am joined by Mr. Paul Washington.
Hello!
Joined by Mr. Craig Lucas.
Hello!
And we are joined by a guest who some of you may recognise his voice. He's not been on as a guest at any of the podcasts before, but he did contribute to the trip report last year, the audio from Halloween Horror Nights, with the aforementioned Mr. Craig Lucas, and that guy is Stuart Miller. Do I say Stuart? Do I call you Stu? Do I call you Mr. Miller? Stu's good. Okay, good. Stu is good actually. Big fan. But
He's good.
They are also good. Other drugs are available. We are not condoning drug use on this podcast.
No.
Very nice to meet you, Stu, and thank you for joining us on this.
No problem.
You're a long-time friend of Mr. Lucas.
Unfortunately, yeah.
I was going to say my condolences to you. I mean, I've only known him for about 4 years, which feels like 4 years too long, but so I can only imagine how it must feel for you. Before we get started and cracking on with the show, we start all our podcasts pretty much with what we're drinking. So, who's drinking what?
I'll start, and I'm on the most exotic cherry tango.
Cherry Tango.
Cherry
is
Tango.
a strong choice.
Is
in my
that
opinion.
real?
Yeah,
It's real.
yeah.
No
strong
way.
Cherry Tango is a strong choice.
Oh, it's very nice.
Yeah. In fact, I'd go as far as to say at the possibility of upsetting PepsiCo, other brands of soft drink manufacturer are available, and say that I actually rate Cherry Tango and Apple Tango higher than Orange Tango.
I'm with you on that, Nick. Totally agree.
But I will say I prefer Orange Tango to Fanta, so that's controversial. So there you go. Anyway, Mr. Lucas, what are you drinking?
Fresh air.
Fresh air. I don't know if you can drink fresh air, can you?
Hold on, let me have a go. Yeah, you can.
Fair play.
And it's sweet.
Very, very good. That Scouse Liverpudlian air, very sweet, it turns out. P-dubs, what are we on?
I'm going against Mr. Dolan. I've got a Magnus.
Whoa.
Oh, I love Magnus.
I have an allergic reaction to cider.
Is that because you're a girl?
No. You've obviously seen the video.
Anything above 2%, he's done.
That's 4.5% we were drinking yesterday.
Exactly. Look at the state of you.
7 pints in 2 hours.
Listen into our other show on Universal After Dark and you'll find out about Craig.
Yeah, it might be a bit of editing involved.
Nah, we don't do editing.
Whoa.
Not proper editing anyway.
Oh, I think we might have to.
I did actually go out to buy myself a pop drink, because that's what this show is, and I've got myself a Dr. Pepper.
Oh, I love Dr. Pepper.
What's the worst that can happen? I can tell you what the worst that can happen is. You could end up picking up a vanilla Dr. Pepper instead. They're rubbish.
Oh.
Or you could be a West Ham fan.
Or you could be a West Ham fan. That's very true. Yeah.
Did that go down the wrong goal?
Yeah, I just took a slightly bigger slug than I was expecting. It did sound like I just inhaled an awful lot of marijuana smoke, but I actually didn't. Other types of smoke are available. But no, that was definitely Pepsi Max. In fact, actually talking about that, I learnt yesterday.
Someone
And
just fell
we'll
off the
give him.
chair.
Well, he heard me glug. And it's probably a podcast I mentioned at the end of the show actually as well. But Scroobius Pip, for anyone that knows him, has invented a drink called the Scroobius, which is Pepsi Max, got to be Pepsi Max, and gin. And the only reason I'm not drinking that tonight is because I can't be bothered to go through the cupboard and get to the gin. Otherwise, I would have done, because I like gin. I've never tried gin with anything other than like tonic water. I was going to say slim, but I've also had full. I'm daring. I've had full fat tonic water as well as slimline tonic water.
Why didn't you just substitute whatever's at the front of the cupboard for the gin?
No, because it's like Jack Daniels. That's boring. Like Jack Daniels and Coke is just like it is what it is. You need something else. So next show, I'll have a Scroobius.
I'm just curious. How big is your cupboard if it's such a big chore for you to reach to the
No,
back
it's not.
It's like Narnia.
I wish it's where I've kept myself for too many years. That's the kind of cupboard I've got. But no, it's not that. It's the fact that I've got some kitchen utensils in the front of the cupboard in front of it. So we've got just looking at it there now, there's a toaster. There is a wicker basket where we keep fruit and veg.
I'm not being funny.
This is like
MTV
MTV
first world
Cribs.
problems. This
MTV Cribs. A juicer and a blender are all in front of the booze. So I just couldn't be bothered to move that stuff out before we recorded. That's literally my only excuse. But I'll make sure I make up for it next time. Don't worry, everyone. So that's fine. Craig.
Yeah.
I think because our listeners would demand it if we didn't do so. And already kind of mentioned the fact that Stu is a long-time associate of yours. I think everyone is dying to know how it all started.
Well, we've never had sex.
Yeah.
You know, what I think...
Oh no, say nothing.
Well, you know what's interesting about that? I'm going to stop you right there. What's interesting about that is I've asked how you've met, and your opening gambit is we've never had sex. That's normally the exact reaction I expect to hear from somebody who has.
Sex.
Yeah, so I think that's telling.
We've done
make your own mind up.
We've done sword fights.
Yeah, we've crossed streams.
No more than the head winning, so that doesn't count.
No. And as long as your balls don't touch, it's just gay.
Just the tip of the iceberg.
As long as they're not banging together, you're all right.
Yeah. So what you do is you sellotape a toilet roll around your nads, and then they can't touch. Anyway, basically, it's September 1994. England is playing the USA at Wembley, so you can go and find that date because it did happen. It was
I was still in primary school.
It was fuck off.
I just started secondary school.
Oh God, the old fellas here, and we were in Lanzarote, me and my wife, and we were in the Red Lion pub.
Red Lion, yeah.
Sitting there at a 4 table, me and my wife, and these two, I thought they were homeless people at first, come to the table and asked if the seats were taken.
It was full, wasn't it? The bar was full apart from these 2 seats.
Yeah, and I sort of sneered and went, yeah, they are, yeah. And my wife went, no, they're not. And he sat down, and I give my wife daggers. It's getting tired and that now. I'm exhausted just saying, my wife. What's the record? That should be a drinking game.
I hope it's not, because if it is, someone's just died. Someone who's fairly lightweight. You actually,
like Craig last night.
Yeah, if you was playing this game, you'd be dead by now.
Oh God, I'm never listening to this back doing shots. And we basically sat in an uncomfortable silence for maybe half an hour, and I'm talking to Kerry and Michelle, Stuart's wife. Not my wife, his wife. Said, are you from Liverpool? And the rest is history. Here we are.
Hang on. Who said that?
Michelle. Stuart's
in
wife.
that exact voice.
Are you? No. See, I'm gonna call shenanigans on that, because that is clearly the voice of Sonia.
That is my wife.
Stuart's wife.
Your wife.
It's Sonia. Excellent. I love it. I love that you've tried to pretend that she's not who she says she is by changing her name, but that everyone knows that voice. So
Cat's up the bag.
And we basically drank the night away then together. We were drinking some sort of mint concoction, I seem to remember. Got very, very drunk. Very, very drunk.
mouthwash.
We went to the same club every night, didn't we? The Farmhouse Tavern.
Yeah.
And we had Monkey Brains. Monkey Brains was the drink we had every night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Disgusting.
And here we are now.
Wow.
I'm sure you find it no surprise that the only 2 seats available in this bar was next to him.
Well, no, not at all. That's the thing. I mean, that is the most real part of this story.
Well, I'd been glaring at everyone because I'm Scout and dead hard.
Scouts. So do you think that history would have happened in this way had Stu not been a Scouser? Like, if he was a Cockney wide boy like me, do you think that you would have still...
No, because it was quite easy to go and follow up and visit. And because he lives on the Wirral, we live over here. We've only got the River Mersey dividing us. It's 15-minute drive. If you were a Cockney wide boy, back in the 90s, you've got to remember there's no motorways existing at that point.
Yeah, for American listeners that don't know, before the year 2000, everyone travelled by horse and carriage on roads made of pulled together slabs, effectively.
Yeah, exactly.
Crushed rock and pebble.
But I mean,
now we've got tarmac.
You've got to think, for us to go round to their house for the first time, we phoned their house phone. Who does that now?
I've had a few times people recently, especially where we've not long moved, have said, "Oh, can we have can you tell us what your home phone number is?" No, I have it, but I've got no idea what it is.
Yeah.
In fact, I was thinking this the other day actually, because I just recently changed my mobile phone contract, and I ported my number over, and they said like, "Oh, do you want to port your number over? Do you want to get this new number that we're going to give you?" And I thought, I'm probably never going to remember a phone number again. Because you don't need to remember phone numbers anymore.
No.
It's terrible, isn't it? Like, if you lost your phone or something, we'd all be screwed. Because we wouldn't know
phone numbers. No, you just need someone's name now.
Yeah.
You know, Nick Branch is my contact. Bang, there you go. That's it. That's all you need.
Can't believe you just revealed my name on this podcast. Now everyone's going to know who I actually am.
Everyone knows who you are.
Well, if they did, why are they not contacting me and saying thanks for all the hard podcasting you do and thanks for being such a wonderful guy?
Well, that's never going to happen, is it?
Shut up, P-dubs. I'm sure I can mute lines on this thing.
There's a T-shirt.
Besides which, surely,
shut up, P-dubs.
surely the only people that would really want to give me a piece of my parents, and they know exactly how to contact me, so that's completely fine.
Through the solicitors.
I wish that was the case. It means stuff was going to happen. Anyway, so that's good though. I mean, to have a friendship that long is really good, because I mean as we kind of alluded to earlier, like I just started secondary school, so 1994. I remember Jungle was massive at the time. That was the new thing.
The thing is, it was the 90s, so Manchester was all the rage. So both of us had fanny parts in our hair, and we both talked like Liam Gallagher. So I don't even know how we knew each other was Scouts, because we were talking like Manx.
Yeah, you've got to look.
You're all right, kid. That's what it was like.
You both wearing tracksuits.
Yeah,
I imagine.
Yeah.
Shell suits.
Yeah, we both had the games done.
That's exactly what I mean. Yeah.
Also, as you know, when you go on holiday, if you meet someone, you always say, "Oh, let's trade numbers. We'll get in touch and blah blah blah." And you think, "Oh, I'm never going to see them again, or I never want to see them again."
Yeah, because it's the hope more than anything else.
So imagine our devastation when the phone goes and it's bloody him on the other end. "Oh, we're thinking about coming over." Oh, shite.
I would have killed over from a heart attack.
The thing is, they let me through the Mersey Tunnel without a passport, so...
Really?
That was all right.
They'd let me over to Wales before without a passport.
Yeah, but you all go to Wales on your summer holidays.
No, we don't. Well, I don't anyway. I do. What I love about Wales is the fact they charge you to enter, but they don't charge you to leave.
Yeah.
Surely Yeah, surely it should be the other way around.
You all go to Barry Island, don't you?
Yes, yes. Everyone from Billericay goes to Barry Island. That's right.
Gavlar.
I don't.
Nick Law.
I don't. I don't. I don't live in Billericay. I can only dream of such things. Surfing. Going out surfing.
He's literally shelling cockles as we speak.
That's right. Pulling muscles from a shell.
Well,
that's
getting back onto like Pop After Dark and all that.
Well, yeah. Thanks for swerving that one.
What do you think? You've got an iPhone 7 now. Last time we did this show, the news was out. You've come up from an S5S.
I have. It was quite funny because, I mean, when we was on that show, we was talking about how expensive the phones were and not sure what I was going to do. And here I am sitting with my shiny iPhone 7. But let's not pretend that's a rarity because you've also got an iPhone 7.
Yeah.
And you are an Apple tart.
Yeah.
And I don't mean the cake.
And there's nothing wrong with my Apple Watch, but I need the new one now.
Well, my cousin's upgraded, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, he's recently upgraded. He said like the battery life is much better than the first generation. It's nicer watch.
Is that your cousin Stavros?
That's right. Why have I got a cousin called Stavros?
Because you're Nicholas.
No, yes. I'd love a cousin Stavros, but I don't. That's not true. I have lovely cousins. I don't need a cousin Stavros. But if a cousin Stavros wants to adopt me, contact the show. Yeah, so I decided to take advantage of the new Apple upgrade program that we've only just got in this country. So I think it was a 6 or 6S that it launched in America.
The 6S, yeah, 6S. The upgrade, yeah.
Yeah, and so my biggest trouble was actually trying to get a phone because I'd left it late to try and order one, so I couldn't reserve a phone anywhere.
So you got rose pink.
Yeah, I got rose gold because actually I chose rose gold. I could have had black. I was like, nah, give me the girliest phone you've got. Give me the girliest phone you've got. So it took me a few days extra to actually be able to get an appointment, but it was very easy. I think about 15 minutes was all it took to literally go in there, do all the paperwork on their little Apple devices, and sign my contract and walk out of my phone. So it's very, very easy. I went for 128 gig, which was a big upgrade from the 32.
What colour did you get?
I got matte black.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll let you off.
I didn't go for. You know what? I've never had a white iPhone.
Oh, I have.
I've only had the black or like space grey or whatever. So I don't particularly like the white front. So I always try and go for the black. But I didn't like with this with the 7. I didn't like the gloss. Well, I liked it, but what I didn't like, I knew would happen would be it would just be a fingerprint magnet, and it absolutely is. If you go in store and see one, it's just covered in fingerprints.
When I got my iPhone 5 on Tottenham Court Road on launch day, I goes in. Have you got any iPhones in? Oh yeah, we've got loads. Have you got 64 gig? Oh no, we've only got 32 gig. Okay. Have you got a black one then? No, we've only got white. Oh. And I goes up to go and have a look at the display. So I goes and has a look at the display, and I'm standing next to the most gorgeous Israeli man I've ever seen in my life, and he's holding one of the test models, and I'm holding the other test model, and he's holding a white one, and I says to him, "Hey mate, are them white ones gay?" Like that. And he went, "No, I have a white one." And because he was so gorgeous and manly and muscular, I got a white one. And within 2 days, I'd put it in a knockoff Jag eBay case, because in them days, the iPhone cases didn't come out for about 2 weeks after the freaking phone had come out. So I had this Liverpool red £1.99 iPhone 5 case. And when I put it on my white iPhone, the whiteness shone through and my phone became pink. So everyone thought it was gay.
I'm sure it wasn't the case, Craig.
Well,
I'm sure it was just you.
Yeah, I think the phone just decided to turn a little bit gay from being in your hands.
It was the high heels that did it. Yeah. So I got mine on launch day, the iPhone 7, and it was a very painful experience. 2 hours it took me to upgrade on the upgrade program.
Well, because the guy was telling me in store that they'd crashed Barclaycard.
Yeah, they blew up Barclaycard. They killed
Yeah.
Barclays. In India, everyone was running around in the streets going, "Oh, Barclays has gone! Barclays has
I was
gone!"
going to say, but what does that have to do with Barclays?
Because they live in India.
That was a joke, Craig.
Oh, okay.
That was the joke.
That was the joke.
Yeah, so yeah, he did say that to me actually. He also said an interesting statistic. I don't know how true this is. I mean, this is just what the employee in the Apple store told me. But now, 9 out of 10 iPhones sold in America go through that program.
Wow.
I mean, and when he said that to me, because when I looked around, I looked at my current provider. I was with 3, who I've been with quite a long time, and for me to get the phone I wanted on 3 was going to cost me almost £60 a month with like data and all that kind of jazz. The same phone to buy with Apple was £38 a month, and then if I remained on 3, it was going to cost me about £12 a month. So it's still going to be much cheaper to split the contracts. So I have a separate phone contract and a separate mobile contract, and to have one combined. And in the end, I actually left 3 because I like them, but when it works, it's brilliant. And when it doesn't work, it's obviously really poor, which is probably more often than not. And I joined BT Mobile as a customer, and I had to watch what I said there. And I'm now paying £10 a month, and for that, I actually got £20 a £20 iTunes voucher with that from signing up. And I went through Quidco. If anyone doesn't use Quidco that's listening to this, sign up to Quidco. It's free, and you get cashback when you buy stuff online. And I got £50 Quidco for signing up as well.
That's good, isn't it?
So the £20 iTunes voucher I don't get for, I think, 45 days after I start my contract, and the cashback will probably take about 2 months to come through. But it's fine, it's just 50 quid in my back pocket, so why not? And then in 11 months' time, I can upgrade my phone if I choose to even, or it runs out in 20 months. So either or, really. And it's
I'm
cheaper.
thinking of keeping it for 20 months and then selling it.
The problem with that is what you're going to get back. I mean, I sold my 5S and I got a 32 gig 5S. I got £125.
Well, I sold my iPhone 6 Plus 128 gig and got £250.
Yeah, but then that's right.
Yeah.
I think I lucked out with my phone because what I did, and I've done this before, is when Apple announce a new phone, if you go to a mobile recycler and put in your phone details, then they give you 2 weeks to send the phone back to them to guarantee the money.
Yeah.
And at that point, they won't have updated their figures. So say it's like 130 quid. If you do that day, you'll get 130 quid because that's what you've typed in. But if you did that the next day, they might have updated that, so it might only be worth £110 or something, or £90. I was only going to get £75 if I took it into Apple. That was going to be what they gave me for my 5S. So I got myself some extra money there. So it's worthwhile doing. But it's the risk you take. And also for me, I'd had my phone 3 years and the battery was knackered. So
didn't Sting sing that?
Yes, with Macy Gray.
Yeah,
the duet.
I thought so.
Yeah, popular. But yeah, I'm pleased with it. I noticed a massive difference from having an iPhone 5S. My friends who got 6S didn't think it was that much of an evolution, and I think that's probably right. I think that's probably accurate. If you're buying them Apple iPhones every year, they're only going to be small changes, really. If you're waiting 2 years between upgrades or 3 years, then you will see a big difference. I think that's it. It's baby steps, isn't it? Really, with Apple updates. So yeah, it's been like a bit of a mixed response, but I'm happy with it because it's a lot better. So yeah, I'm content. But how are you upgrading from a 6S to a 7? Do you think it was worthwhile?
I upgraded from a 6 to a 7.
Oh, sorry, a 6. Okay.
So it's like getting 2 phones in one, isn't it? And
yep.
I actually paid out £99 for the Apple battery case as well, and I can get up to now. I've done nights last week in work, 27 hours of use between charges
Holy cow!
with the phone and the battery case. So, and my phone is now on 58% from 5 o'clock this morning when I got up. So that's the whole battery discharged in the battery case, and now I've got 58% left on the phone. So,
And how much was that case?
it was £99, but
It's not bad for what you get, is it?
it's a trade-off, innit? You know, you're paying for you always pay over the odds for Apple quality anyway.
Yeah.
Other battery cases are available, but they're just not as aesthetically pleasing, I think. And it makes the phone a lot weightier in your hand as well. So it makes it feel like it's not something you're going to drop or slide out your hand, or it's almost like holding a 6S, a 6 Plus or 7 Plus, even though it's an iPhone 7. It's substantial in your hand. I like it.
It's like a substantial handheld.
Yeah, it's like my member of Parliament.
I don't even really know how to answer that one.
Mr. Twig, he's a cracking MP.
So, what else was we
Moving
gonna?
on.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So it's good to call back to Apple since we talked about it on the first show. But what other things did you want to mention? Because if there's not much that people want to do, I want to throw something out there. In fact, I know that's not true. I know, Craig, there is something you want to talk about. So we'll come to that very swiftly in a minute.
Yeah, my little thing is just a little something for the end of the show, just a little 5-minute chat. So fire away with what you've got, Nick.
Well, I wanted to ask, and I know where Craig stands at this, but anyone else on the podcast that's not Craig follow any kind of wrestling?
I do regard as much as my son watches it.
That's fine.
I'm not an avid fan, but my son watches it, so I know of it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. P-dubs?
Very much the same. I'm aware of it due to friends enjoying it and things like that, but wouldn't avidly watch it.
The reason why I mentioned it is because, so I'm assuming, I'm going to make a big assumption now, that your children watch, or child watches WWE.
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
My lad does, yeah.
So
we've been to see Raw and SmackDown as well at Manchester the past 2 years.
You know what? I've watched wrestling. I still remember watching it for the first time when I was about 5. It must have been about 5, maybe 6 when I first started watching wrestling. First got Sky, or friends that had Sky at least. And in all that time, I've never made it to a WWE event. I had tickets to go to WrestleMania 30. And about 4-5 months before, no, it was less than that, about 4 months before the event, my friend got a job and it meant that he couldn't go. So we sold our tickets and I was devastated because that had been a pact we'd made at college when we first met, that's what we were going to do. And I was gutted, especially as it was actually a good event, because sometimes they can be quite ropey. But I've never been to a WWE event. But the reason I brought up wrestling was because there's a company called TNA, which I suppose is probably the second biggest in the world. But they've never been as popular. They're on Challenge TV over here. But they have run out of money. And all last week, there was a deadline of, I suppose end of business on Friday for them to pay back some of their creditors. And they've actually got an event tonight. They've got a pay-per-view tonight. That was completely up in the air if it was going to happen, and the time has gone, and apparently it's still going ahead. So they must have had a bit of a cash injection, but how long we don't know. And I'm assuming tonight they'll announce live what's going on, but it's going to go one of two ways. It's either someone has bought it out, and at the moment the person that's leading that is Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins. Nick Branch smiling politely.
I actually read that, and it's only just computed what it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's actually been an authority figure on the show for a while. In real life, he actually has a stake in the company. He invested a couple of years ago, and he's seeing if he can get enough money together to buy it outright. The other big one is WWE, who, if they buy it, will just close it down immediately because they just want content for their network. So it's really, really interesting, and it's going to be funny because this podcast will already be out of date by the time it goes out, because I'm speculating about what's going to happen, and hopefully by the time the event happens, the early hours this morning, people will know. But it's pretty scary, and I've actually worked for them before. I worked on their TV tapings. I got to meet Hulk Hogan very briefly.
Oh yeah.
That's Macho Man Randy Savage. Don't you ever get those two confused again?
Oh.
I'll drop kick you in the nads.
Couldn't he bring Randy Savage back to help save it?
Yeah, no, they could do. How do you reanimate a corpse?
Oh. What about the Ultimate Warrior then?
Yeah, how do you reanimate a corpse?
Oh,
We could play this game all night, actually. Name some other 80s wrestlers.
Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Tell me how to reanimate a corpse.
Oh my God, Owen Hart.
Tell me how to really reanimate a corpse.
Oh, Paul Bearer.
Tell me how to reanimate a corpse.
Rick Rude.
Tell me how to reanimate a corpse.
Mr. Perfect.
This is really fun. Tell me how to reanimate a corpse.
Oh, freaking hell.
Carry on. You will get to somebody eventually. I promise you.
Johnny Grudge.
Tell me how to reanimate. No, I don't know. Don't know. Johnny Grudges.
Yeah, he's dead as well.
British Bulldog. Tell me how to reanimate a corpse. Hulk Hogan's still alive. Ric Flair still
that's
alive.
debatable.
Oh, he's still there in mind and body.
No, I'm not sure about mind.
Or body.
Speaking of body, Jesse the Body Ventura. He has some excellent conspiracies about 9/11. Love him. Who else?
Did they ever do a WWE cartoon?
They did one in the 80s. The 80s. They had Hulk Hogan's Rock and Roll Wrestling.
I seem to remember a Scooby-Doo episode.
John Cena.
There is a couple of Scooby-Doo movies. Yeah, there's a couple of Scooby-Doo WWF movies. The WWE movies, sorry. But then Scooby-Doo does everything. There's also one with Kiss. So, and
how does the WWE get itself into such a pickle?
It doesn't.
Oh, who did you say?
TNA.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have just been desperately trying to compete. And a few years ago, it's always been a solid number two. And yes, some people would say calling it a number two is quite right. But they basically wanted to compete. And so what they did is they spent a lot of money buying Hulk Hogan to come into their company and wrestle for them at the age of, 55 or something. Broken man. And they then went head to head with them on the same night. So Monday night in America is American football and WWE Raw. That's the two big things on a Monday night in terms of kind of sport entertainment. They decided to go head to head with them, same time slot, same night, to see what would happen. They lasted 10 weeks before they had to change. They spent millions making that change happen the first time. So then spent equal amounts changing it all back again. So it was just a massive colossal, and they've always tried to compete instead of just settling for being the second biggest promotion. They've tried to compete, and it's come back to bite them in the arse. In fact, the asking price is more than a company's worth. Apparently, I don't know what that asking price is, but it's in the millions, obviously, and it's not worth anywhere near that. The name itself is probably only worth about $500,000 tops. So it'll be interesting. The thing is, you don't want a company to go down like that because it's just a monopoly again. So it'll be a shame, but they've put themselves into such a corner, such a pickle, as you say, that who knows? It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, and if you want to also, anyone listening, if you want to name some more wrestlers from the 80s and 90s and ask me if they're dead, you can email us at disafterdark@gmail.com.
That's why we never get any emails, yeah.
Yeah, disafterdark@gmail.com, and I will tell you if that wrestler needs to be reanimated. Fun segment for the show.
Always having a drink.
I'm having a swig.
You don't seem to be enjoying this drink, Nick, because every time you have a swig, you nearly die.
No, it's lovely. Who doesn't like a Dr. Pepper?
I love Dr. Pepper.
Actually, some people do. I don't trust those people.
I hate Dr. Pepper.
Sums everything up, to be completely honest.
Yeah, we've never trusted you, Craig. It's fine. Don't worry.
Right, so it's time to talk about the other sponsor we have for the After Dark Podcast Network. And gents, if you were thinking, as you have done previously and you will do again, if you was thinking about booking a trip to one of the parks that we've talked about, who would you think of asking or at least approaching?
Well, there's only
Wendy!
one name that springs to mind only.
Wendy. Wendy's so famous, she's only got one name, like Madonna or Cher. Well, it's not actually true. She has two, because she's got a surname as well, which is Prater. So, of course, Wendy Prater at Magical Journeys Travels. We're so well prepared with this. It's like we've been practicing all day, finishing off each other's
sentences.
Sandwiches! For God's sake. This is totally unorganised. But we may be unorganised, but Wendy is not.
Oh, smooth.
You see?
I love how you did that.
That's what she's there for.
I'm a big fan of your work.
Oh, well, we're a big fan of Wendy's work, which is the point more than that. Whether you've been to Disney 1 or 100 times, there's still lots of planning involved, and I think we can all attest to that.
Yep. And their burgers are good as well.
They are. They are. And of course, now with Magic Bands, everything else is even more complex. I mean, geez, the last time I went, it was much easier than it is nowadays. So, Wendy can be the person to take away that pain of getting a reservation for Be Our Guest, where friend of the show, that Florida guy, just tried the grey stuff.
Yeah.
Hasn't reported back yet as to what it tasted like. And you could try and get a fast pass for Anna and Elsa. Now, if us mere muggles or mortals tried to get a fast pass for Be Our Guest or Anna and Elsa meet and greets, how successful do you think we would be?
Well, I've already failed. I didn't get an ADR for Be Our Guest.
See?
So I wish I'd gone to Wendy for that one.
Wendy, not just the home of good burgers, but the home of good travel planning. So visit Wendy at wpmagicjourneys.com, or you can contact her on Twitter at wpmagicjourneys. And of course, if you mention that you heard one of our amazing podcasts, and that's how you got to hear of Wendy, she'll give you $25 off your deposit for any trip package. And our own Mr. Ripley at the moment has been on one of the Disney cruises, and she's able to offer generous onboard credits for Disney Cruise Lines as well. Something to bear in mind. So if you are thinking of making a trip, before you go anywhere else, go and find Wendy Prater at Magical Journeys Travels, wpmagicjourneys.com.
Because if you don't, you'll feel like a prat.
So Craig, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about some movies.
I'd just be interested to see. It's been a bit of a strange year for films.
Very much so, yeah.
The critics have been extremely critical about some of the films coming out this year, and the fans, the movie-going public, have loved them. So I'm just interested to see if you can correctly guess this is obviously American domestic grosses, the top 3 movies of the year so far.
Before we do that, does anyone here actually think critics matter?
No.
No.
I think they can, yeah. They did their damnedest to try and crush Ghostbusters.
I don't think they did.
Oh.
I personally don't think they did. I think critics are an interesting one, because I will go and see a film regardless of what I think about the film itself. So if I think it's going to be a good film,
if I fancy seeing it, I will go watch it. That's it. I will read a critic's review, but I will still make the final judgment on whether I go and see it or not. That's it. I won't let that kind of cloud anything. So, yeah, but some people I think are relying too much. So, do we have to get this in order?
Well, okay. Each one of you pick what you think is the number 3 film this year.
American Grace, yeah?
American Gross, yeah.
Number 3, Deadpool.
No.
That's the first one that comes to mind, but not number 3. I'm going to go... Was Jungle Book this year?
Yes.
Jungle Book, I'll go.
No.
Batman versus Superman?
No. Okay, the 3 that you've just mentioned there, Jungle Book's number 4 at $364 million. Deadpool is at number 5 at $363 million. And Batman vs Superman is number 7 at $330 million. So I will reveal the number 3 grossing film currently in America this year, The Secret Life of Pets. And that has taken $364,931 million.
So
it's just dawned on me what's going to be number 1, I think.
Okay.
Oh, I think I know what's number 1. I do think I know what's number 1.
Now I've revealed them films that you've all guessed. What do you think the number 2 is?
I think number 2 is Captain America: Civil War.
Paul?
Finding Dory.
Stuart?
So I think Finding Dory is the top one. Yeah, probably Captain America, I reckon, number 2.
Captain America is indeed number 2.
Yeah.
Now, $408 million.
So it's quite a big jump, actually.
Yeah.
It's quite a big jump.
How did the biggest Marvel, and Paul probably know this, the biggest Marvel film in history is Avengers, the first one, is it?
Yeah, Avengers, or in the UK, for no apparent reason whatsoever, the Avengers Assemble.
What was that? Anyone in its first year? Because it's made $1 billion, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's worldwide.
Yeah. I think it was over 500 million.
Right. Okay.
I think
Finding Dory is indeed number 1, and it's quite a massive jump. $484 million.
Yeah. I knew it broke all kinds of records, so that would have been my number 1. Yeah. It's interesting, I think, in some ways that in a year where we've had a lot of reboots and sequels not really do very well, that you've got Finding Dory way ahead of anything else.
I mean, Suicide Squad, my favourite film of the year so far, that only come in at number 8, 320 million.
That's a strong reaction as well, because a lot of people, it's a Marmite film. Well, I don't know anyone that's loved it, people that have liked it or just hated it. I'm just having a look at the worldwide total, actually.
Oh, go on.
So now we've revealed that. What do we think the other way? So the global box office for the year. Number 3.
Number 3, I'm going to put Zootopia.
Okay. P-dubs?
Yeah, I'm agreeing.
Okay.
Zootopia.
Stu?
But The Revenant. That was quite a big film, wasn't it?
It was, but stuff like The Revenant doesn't generally make a huge amount of money, and also, and this is where the worldwide thing gets skewed slightly. Revenant actually came out last year in America.
Ah, nice.
We got it in January, but it actually came out last year for a lot of things. So no idea where Revenant is, but it's definitely not in the top 5. So you said Zootopia as your number 3. Zootopia's number 2, actually.
Ah, it's only number 6 in America.
So if I tell you that Zootopia is number 2, let's all have a second go at what number 3 is.
Okay, I'm going to say Batman versus Superman.
Stu?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. That's what I was thinking.
P-Dubs?
Finding Dory.
Finding Dory is number 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's
Very interesting.
There's only one worldwide box office number 1 then, and that's Captain America.
Anyone want to argue with that one?
No.
No, it's got to be surely.
The one film out of those 3 that I haven't seen yet, yes, Captain America is number 1. So globally, Finding Dory's made $985,205. Zootopia, $1,023,589,000, and Captain America 3, as it's I don't know if that's a worldwide name or just a shortening of the whole thing, is $1,152,765. So quite a bit ahead. But it shows you that, because I mean, it was interesting said about the critics at the beginning, because there's been a lot of sequels and remakes this year that haven't done well. So the one I was thinking of was Alice Through the Looking Glass, which comes, and the reason I'm thinking of that is because that comes out tomorrow to buy on Blu-ray and DVD. Other films are available tomorrow. But that was an example of a film that the expectations were quite high because Alice was a massive success and completely flopped at the box office.
Yep, 77 million in America.
Yeah. I mean, its opening weekend was about 10 million or something.
Yeah. 26 in the league.
Yeah, I remember it being low.
It's been smashed everywhere by Ride Along 2, Sausage Party, Independence Day Resurgence, which is potentially the worst film I've ever seen in my life.
You haven't seen King Kong Lives, though, have you? We had a discussion before.
We still need to watch that.
We need the director's commentary on King Kong Lives.
Yeah.
I think we should do that.
Craig said he wants to do Sausage Party with me, but I wasn't sure what he was on about.
Yeah, and well, no, I mean, to be fair, that Sausage Party that Craig was inviting you to is different to the movie.
That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
so you were right to stay away, Steve, if I'm completely honest with you. Yeah. But you mentioned Ghostbusters. I don't think, to be honest, the sabotage there, if I'm completely honest, was Sony. It was the trailers that they released. I saw 2 trailers, a US trailer and an international trailer, and both of them felt completely different. One of them looked reasonably funny. The other one looked completely dull and boring and not funny at all.
Which one was the dull and boring one?
The American one.
Okay, well that might reflect in the league table. That come in at 13th.
Yeah.
At $127 million.
Yeah, I feel sorry. I feel sorry for the Ghostbusters a lot because there was a lot of expectations, but I think that the whole film was completely overshadowed by the negative publicity surrounding the marketing campaign. Everyone I know that's seen it has actually said it was good.
Yeah.
And apparently one of the better 3D films this year as well. Like the 3D version was actually worth paying the extra money for, which often isn't the case. So I feel a bit sorry for them, and the fact that they obviously want it to be a franchise and it's kind of killed it. They've announced a sequel, but I don't know if they'll go through with it.
I think they will, because they've got the awkward remake out the way now.
Mm.
You know, they've had the little guest appearances of the original cast. They've all gone now. It's the new one. It could be its own story. I think it would be better.
What did you think of it, then?
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I haven't either.
Superb.
But I've pre-ordered it. I do like buying the odd film on iTunes now, and I have pre-ordered it.
See, the thing for me, especially now having kids, is that and young kids, is that you can't go and see all the films that you want to see. It's just not possible for you to go. If you love film, which I do, I don't get to see half the films I want to. So I have to kind of wait now. I make special trips to the cinema to see things I really want to see. So like Star Wars, can't wait for that. But Marvel films generally, I'm quite happy to wait for them to come out at home. So it's not like before. I remember when Batman came out and I had to wait, I don't know, about 8 months to see the video copy of Batman, the Tim Burton version. So now, after the film's been out, 3-4 months down the road, you've got the Blu-ray version. If you've got a TV, I can buy the 3D version. So for us to go and see Ghostbusters, because I'd go with my wife, we'd be looking at 20 plus quid for the tickets, plus drink, plus popcorn. Trying to find someone to look after the kids. It's an expensive night out. Whilst I can order the Blu-ray today, get it release day, get it in 3D, watch it in 3D if I wanted to, watch it in 2D, for less than the price of 2 tickets.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's the thing. It'll be. I think with Ghostbusters as well, I think it'll be interesting because there was negative publicity all the way up to it, and then when it came out, I actually don't think the critics were too harsh on it. I saw some actually pretty positive reviews for it, but I think the damage had been done. Now, what will be interesting is the word of mouth. So as I said, I've had a lot of people tell me they really enjoyed it, so I do want to see it, and I will go and buy it when it comes out. So I think it'll be interesting to see what it does when it gets released for home consumption, because there's been a few films recently that have done better, like Austin Powers, for example. Going back to Austin Powers, the first Austin Powers did nothing at the cinema, like didn't make very much money at all. It was reasonably budgeted, but didn't do very well. However, when it was available to rent, as that was still a thing back then, it broke all kinds of records, and that gave them enough momentum to make a sequel. And we all know what the sequel did so well; they did a third one. But sometimes that's where they make their money back.
Look at Judge Dredd.
Yeah. Well,
Absolutely
no,
flopped in the cinema, but it did fairly well on DVD as well.
You're talking Dredd though, not Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
Let's just make a distinction, because one is good and the other's got Sylvester Stallone in it. But so this is the thing. So Disney can allow for flops like Alice to happen, because so far in the last 12 months they've had Episode 7, Zootopia, Captain America, and Finding Dory, and The Jungle Book. In fact, if you look at that top 4 worldwide gross for the year, Captain America's number 1, Zootopia 2, Finding Dory 3, Jungle Book 4. They've got the top 4 grossing films this year. So they can allow for a $100 million flop like Alice to go out, because they've made their money back and then some on everything else. And in fact, Pete's Dragon, which I called out lots of times are going to be a massive flop, has done reasonably well.
What's it done worldwide?
I knew you was going to ask that question. I'm going to have to go and find it now.
It's done 75 million in America, 27th biggest film of the year.
Yeah, but to be honest, when it got released, it was at the tail end of the summer, so it was not it was just kind of just thrown out there. There wasn't a lot of advertising done for it. $74 million. What it's done globally. I say done $48 million globally. So 122 worldwide.
That's pathetic, isn't it?
It depends on what the budget. The budget was 65 million. For a film.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. But as Nick was saying, that's one of them films where I'll wait for it to come out on like the Android box or whatever. I'm not going to pay good money to go and watch it in the cinema.
Other ways of illegally watching films are available, but
there's a T-shirt there,
and we're not condoning it, nor are we telling you that you shouldn't do it.
I mean, wait for the DVD to come out.
Of course. It was. It just the line broke up a little bit. But I mean, that's it. A film now needs to make back double its production budget for it to break even. Generally, depending on how much marketing they spend as well, but they only get about half back from the cinema, so yeah, it needs to kind of do double, and that's just done over double. And it was a sleeper release. There's no merchandise for it. The only merchandise I saw was in Build-A-Bear Workshop, where they had a dragon. Disney Store didn't promote it. There's been nothing. So for it to do that well, I know what you're saying, Craig, but to be honest, that's good. That's done all right for itself, really. Yeah. That's all I've got to say on that. But yeah, it's funny how I'm just actually comparing Alice to Alice and the Looking Glass. The first Alice made 1 billion worldwide. 1,025,000,000, which is why there was a sequel. Which I'm telling you now, I'm just looking at the figures, but it's not going to be anywhere near that, is it?
It's a car crash, isn't it?
Again, it's not one I've seen. We were going to go and see it actually because my daughter liked the first one, but we didn't. Let's have a look. Okay, Looking Glass Global 299. So it's not even made back. It's domestic run last time globally.
77 million, 26th. It's just 3 million more than Pete's Dragon.
Yeah, but Pete's Dragon costs how much? Did I say 65 million.
Yeah.
This was budgeted at 170.
Wow.
So 100 million more. But didn't it come out at the same time that all the Johnny Depp stuff was going about?
Yeah.
So not that that's the only reason, but sometimes negative publicity is bad publicity. And that could well be the one.
Just a little addition to that, the trailer for Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales is out tonight, I believe.
Oh. Speaking of Johnny Depp's career slide.
Yeah. The only job he's got, isn't it?
At the moment.
That and guest appearances in Kevin Smith films.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Where is Tusk on the global rating?
I think it made about $12.
Yeah, he's done well then.
Yeah,
only cost 10 to make, didn't it?
Yeah, but again, we haven't put the marketing budget into that. They spent $100 marketing it.
Putting Kevin Smith on a stage to talk for an hour. There you go.
That'll make its money back, yeah.
I guarantee if Kevin Smith released one of his evening with shows for release at the cinema, it would make more money back than his films.
Yeah, would.
And be cheaper to make. I haven't seen Tusk or Yoga Hoses.
I've seen Tusk, and it's...
I didn't get to the end.
Yeah.
I tried, I didn't get to the end. I think I got about 40 minutes in and turned it off. I'd had enough.
It's not a... Red State is a genuinely good film.
Yeah, it is.
Tusk is terrible. He's been on the marijuana too long now. Someone needs to slap him and say, "You're a 45-year-old man. Stop it now, you soft bastard."
You know what? I think that's probably a valid point. I love Kevin Smith, but I agree. I think he spends too much smoking and not enough doing creative thinking. See, normally, not condoning or condemning drug use, but you can argue, look through time and look at the Beatles, for example, of how minor drugs can make a positive impact. I've just never seen any positive impact from anything that Kevin Smith has made on drugs.
No, I agree with that.
So yeah, I think someone should just have a word and say, if you want to make something good again, just lay off the fags for a bit. The wacky fags, not the normal fags.
Kevin,
the trailer to Yoga Hoses doesn't look too bad, to be fair. It looks watchable.
It's going to be more watchable than Tusk.
Yeah.
His episode of The Flash was alright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Done a couple of them now, hasn't
he? Yeah, he's got a couple more coming out, yeah.
Yeah.
I just think he's the youngest child. He's spoiled, and nobody will stand up to him and say, "Look, you need to draw a line under this." No.
All his circle of friends are yes men, aren't they?
Yeah. He's like a fat Elvis.
So, what podcast are you recommending this week, then, Craig?
Not a Kevin Smith one.
What a Kevin Smith ones?
He's boring now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done with him.
You know what? It's quite funny you say that because I listen to Hollywood Babylon out of habit, but I'm getting a little bit bored.
Yeah.
I much prefer Tell 'em Steve Dave.
Tell 'em Steve Dave all the way.
Yeah. And Army represent.
And what say you?
Yeah.
I'm going to, right. Okay, so Paul, have you got not a podcast episode?
He has got a podcast and a podcast episode he wants to plug, don't you, Paul?
Yeah. One that Craig's on as well.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Go and listen to Strike. We'll be back in probably a week once Craig's watched Luke Cage.
Yeah, I'm going to try and burn through Luke Cage this week. Get it watched.
Is he the guy out of Mortal Kombat?
Cage.
Don't look it up, but it's Johnny Cage. It's all right. It's my poor attempt at humour. I've got a confession to make.
Go on.
As Dave Grohl once sung in a song. I'm still yet to watch any of the Marvel series on Netflix.
That's a massive faux pas, that.
What it is, we started to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which was poo pants. And I know that everyone will tell me that it's got better, and I have no reason to disagree with that. And like most shows, it has up and down times. But it was, I know why it sucked at the beginning, because it was rushed out. It kind of got announced and was on TV within about 4 months. But I just didn't find it enjoyable, so I gave up. And with the Netflix shows, it's just been a case of finding time to watch it. It's on my radar, and I was talking to my friend yesterday about this. I do have a friend, actually. He might be coming on in a few weeks on this show. And
a blow-up friend.
Yeah, it's just going to be me doing a ventriloquist voice for an hour.
Borrowed him from Del Boy.
Yeah, exactly the one. Blows up out of a suitcase. And I said, what I will do is I'll go Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Daredevil Season 2, Luke Cage. So I'll do it in production order.
Yeah,
I'm assuming that there's links. I know there's links with Luke Cage anyway and Jessica Jones. So I felt it made sense to kind of watch it in that way. So I will do it, but I just haven't done it yet. You will not get me watching S.H.I.E.L.D., but I will go and watch those.
What I like about the Netflix stuff is it's all part of the same universe. So they acknowledge the other universe, isn't that right, Paul?
Yeah.
You know, little references. It's not a major. You know, you don't see the Hulk running past in his undies, but they'll reference the Green Man or the I can't remember exactly, but it's all part of the same story, basically. And that's quite cool. It's the same as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They're acting out stuff now because of Avengers 2. What happened in Avengers 2 with and Captain America, Civil War, the Accord thingy, whatever it's called. They're following up with that now, aren't they, at the moment?
By the way, for any listeners that like Marvel films and TV shows and haven't listened to Strike, I want to hear some expert analysis. Craig just demonstrated there why you should be listening to Strike, because they talk about that thingy thing from that film that they did. You know, the second one.
Paul, you will vouch for me. I am the voice of the uneducated.
Yeah, he's the one that asks questions, so we actually tell people the right things.
Yeah, I'm the one who's scratching his head, doesn't know what he did.
Scratching your head, Craig. Come on.
All right, just stroking my head.
I was more thinking scratching your balls.
All right.
But...
yeah, the only person I know that strikes the head has a head that's round in shape.
And orange in colour.
And orange in colour, yeah. Orange hue. An orange hue.
He has to go into hiding this time of year in case anyone tries to carve him up. Other forms of podcast abuse are available,
but not required.
But not as good.
Yeah. We kind of call it that market. So Strike, yes, very much so. Should be something on everyone's radar. Another member of the After Dark Podcast Network.
Okay, right. Well, I'm going to go with. I don't know if anyone's listened to this one. TV Crimes.
No, but I know you are a big fan.
and it's Will Wheaton.
TV's Wesley Crusher.
Yes, and Mikey Newman, who I suspect is the main tweeter of the account because he likes things and replies to you. And I can't imagine Will Wheaton replying to, mere mortals like us.
Muggles.
But the episode to go and listen to is, because there's only 10 episodes, I think, is episode 1, and it's Thunder in Paradise, the Hulk Hogan TV show.
You're joking. You know what? That has just started being shown over here on CBS Action. It started last night.
No way.
Yeah.
And it's extensively filmed in Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
Places in Epcot, places in Hollywood Studios, some of the hotels we use.
Grand Floridian use it extensively during that show. Yeah.
Yeah. And these two boys are hilarious. So, TV Crimes start at episode 1, start at the beginning, Thunder in Paradise. They've done, let's have a look, Beverly Hills 90210, Family Ties, Baywatch Nights, Murder, She Wrote, Family Circus Christmas, Heart to Heart, Chips.
It was Moira.
I listened to the Chips one. I've heard the Chips one. That was good.
Yeah, a little flashback to our youth. That Chips one is actually quite funny, yeah. So there you go. So has anyone else got a recommendation of a podcast?
No.
Yeah, I, as I kind of alluded to, what was going to be my drink of choice tonight, Scroobius Pip and Distraction Pieces. It's for those that don't know, Scroobius Pip is a kind of varied artist. He started in kind of like poetry and spoken word, went into a bit of rap, hip hop, does some acting now as well. Has a speech impediment, has a stutter, which is quite, ironic considering his career path. Thoroughly entertaining. He's local to me as well, but I've never met him. And his Distraction Pieces podcast has had so many different celebrities on from all different walks of life. Let's go and recommend one though, depending on who you like. Simon Pegg was quite good.
Oh, Frankie Boyle is the latest one.
Frankie Boyle's the latest one, which I've got, but I haven't listened to yet. And he did an excellent one with Rufus Hound, really early on in the run. I think they're all still available. I think he keeps all of his podcasts available on his feed to go back and listen to. So I do recommend that one because he used to be on Celebrity Juice. That was where he kind of got famous, but he's a bit of a comedian. He's gone into a bit of acting as well, stage work. And it was just a very good insight to that. He also does topics that... hang on, I'm just trying to see if I can find the episode number there. It's... No. Episode 124 of Distraction Pieces. And actually the next one, 123, is Nick Frost, and that was also a good one. But he often has real life people on there as well, if they've got an interesting story. So they're always worth a listen. So I recommend Distraction Pieces.
Excellent. I've just subscribed now.
Yeah, he's a good one.
I'm going to go back through the back catalogue and have a little mooch.
Yeah, I said what I would do is I would just pick out ones of like people that you know.
Yeah,
or
definitely.
So you like to get a bit more of an insight from. But really, really interesting podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
Stu, do you listen to podcasts at all? Obviously, other than Dis After Dark, which I know you listen to avidly.
I haven't got time to listen to podcasts. I've got an hour to commute to work to and from every day, and I just listen religiously to Hollywood Babylon, Tell 'em Steve Dave, and a Liverpool Football Club podcast 5 times. That's all I listen to, really. And of course, Dis After Dark.
Yeah, obviously, didn't need to be mentioned. Yeah, that's the thing.
Like, they're the ones listening to religiously. I'm not an avid podcaster.
I think the thing is, and my commute's not anywhere near as long now or as frequent, so I find that I've got stuff backing up that I used to listen to, because I find it hard unless I've got like, if I'm going on like a long walk with the dog or something like that, I can't get a podcast in, so I've got to be a lot more picky than I used to be.
So yeah, I understand what you mean. It's just, you know, an hour a day is not really much to get much in. So I understand. So
I did. I mean, I had quite a big, substantial back catalogue, and as I say, it was just all backing up. And in the end, I just had a cull, and I ended up just leaving 4 or 5.
yeah. Right. Well, I think that's us for another week. It's a show that's always evolving, so we try not to keep the format the same every week. So hopefully you enjoy it. Open to suggestions as well, as we've mentioned before. You can contact us at disafterdark@gmail.com, or you can write us on Facebook at Dis After Dark on Facebook. We haven't got a Pop After Dark yet, have we?
No, we've got a Twitter Pop After Dark.
Yep. And we've also got, of course, if you join the unofficial Dad's Army, which I think we're going to change the name for. I think we should change it to Unofficial After Dark Network now.
Yeah, I think we should, yeah.
So, search for Unofficial After Dark Network, and that will be updated. And you can contact us there. Also, if you wouldn't mind, for either Pop or Dis After Dark, leaving us a review on iTunes, very much appreciated. Even if you don't like it, give us a 5-star review. Just give us the abuse in the comments, that's fine.
We have had a review, haven't we, recently?
Yes.
A 5-star review.
We did. And they didn't actually give us abuse.
No,
So, I mean, you can give us a 5-star review and a nice comment, but all I'm saying is if you don't like us, still give us a 5-star review and then slag us off. Yeah. That's fine. We'll take it.
It was Squeeman78 from the UK on the 31st of August.
Yeah.
Please join these great guys for a show for avid fans of or people who just like some area of Disney. So thank you.
Thank you, Squeeman.
Squeeman78.
So if you want to be the next Squeeman78, because there's already one of those, leave us a review and we'll give you a shout out.
Squeeman79.
Very, very much the least that we can do. So, well, thank you, Stu, for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear it. I'm sorry you had to part with Craig for so long. But for Craig's benefit...
It's a tough job. Someone's got to do it.
Exactly. And, between you, Kerry, and your wife, Liverpudlian singer Sonia, you seem to be doing a very good job. So, thank you for that. And good luck with the league this year. I don't know what you've done with the league, though, this year, Craig, actually, the Fantasy Football League, because you've made it a head-to-head.
I've made it a head-to-head just to try and spice it up a little bit.
Am I still top?
I think you were, actually, yeah. Going for your second title.
The Man United of... obviously, I know you like to be the Liverpool of the league, Stu, but you're winning stuff, so therefore you can't be. So
That's Liverpool's year this year.
I'm 9th. Yeah, Stuart Miller, top of the league. Played 6, won 5, lost 1. 2 points clear.
I'll take that.
And joint second in the league is Nick Branch.
Really? Interesting.
I'm 9th.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. I was going to say I thought I was the West Ham of this year, but clearly not. You're the West Ham of this year, Craig.
You're gone down in my estimation.
Forever blowing bubbles.
Is what Michael Jackson was rumoured, but that's all we can clearly speculate on this podcast.
That's what he was doing when he was eating his burger, didn't he?
Would you do that? Would you actually blow bubbles?
Well, you can contact us at disafterdark@gmail.com and you can answer that very question for us. So thank you for joining us. I don't really know where else we can go.
Mrs. Bubbles.
You mean Bubbles from that Williams and no, the other one. What was that? What was the Little Britain?
Oh yeah,
Bubbles the Veer.
Bubbles the Veer, that's the one. Yeah, if you want to play Bubbles the Veer, email us.
Oh God.
If you want to, so just to recap on stuff, if you want to tell us about your first console, email us or tell us on Facebook. If you want to name some 80s and 90s wrestlers and ask if they're still alive, you can do it the same way. It's an ongoing segment about reanimating corpses. Thank you for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed, and we'll see you all in a few weeks' time. Now hit my music.
This podcast is part of the After Dark Podcast Network.